Welcome to Bee's Travelogue, episode 60. This second day in Seoul was probably one of my most interesting days. I started out at the War Memorial of Korea. The grounds were huge and contained lots of statues and memorials to remember the Korean War. Many of them were very moving. They also thanked the other nations that were helping during the Korean War. I stayed outside the museum at first and walked around. I went to the different memorials and read about the history of the Korean War. Everywhere I looked, Namsan Tower was in the background. There were several airplanes and a lot of tanks, also a ship, and many missiles and helicopters. Some of them you could climb up to or into and take pictures all around. There were South Korean tanks, North Korean tanks, American tanks, different kinds of boats and armored vehicles. The long-range missiles reminded me of the computer game I used to play, Civilization. Seeing all this equipment used in war really brought home how useless wars are and how dangerous and deadly and unnecessary. Yet despite all these memorials in Korea and other countries that I've been to, someone always still continues to wage war. Seeing all the names of the people that lost their lives fighting for their country engraved on the walls really makes me angry to think that people had to give their lives to fight for something that wasn't necessary if not one person had decided that they wanted to take the country to war. And it makes me angry that this is still happening today, and that the people who don't want war don't have any say, that it's being forced upon them whether they want it or not. I think in Germany we have learned our lessons after World War I and II and are teaching our youth to learn about war and how to avoid war. And I think Korea is doing the same. They are honoring their past, they're remembering their past, they have the memorials to educate the youth. But there are many other countries where this is not being done and where war is still glorified. And we have leaders in some countries that are power hungry, that are not respecting the sovereignty of other nations, and that are forcing war on their own people and neighboring countries. And we have people dying, we have children dying, and all of it because some people have not learned the lesson about war or don't care about it. Anyway, back to the museum. Inside the museum were a lot of artifacts and a lot of information on Admiral Yi Sun-shin, the admiral who invented and built the turtle boats, whom we had seen in Yeosu and Mokpo, and who had fought off the Japanese in the late 1500s. After my visit, I stopped at the cafe and had a coffee and wonderful walnut cake. Instead of taking the metro to the National Museum of Korea, I thought I could take the bus or walk through a park, but it turned out there was no access. And then the bus took a different turn, so I got off and ended up walking almost all the way around to get to the National Museum. I walked through a pagoda garden and finally reached the museum grounds. It was very beautiful and I was pretty tired from the long walk. At first I thought I would attend a performance that was taking place outside, but then I realized I didn't have enough time if I wanted to see the museum. So I got up and entered the museum to see the exhibition. The first exhibits were similar to what I had seen in Gyeongju and Gwangju. Pottery recovered from shipwrecks and a lot of artifacts found in ancient tombs. I took my time and went into every exhibition hall on the ground floor. A lot of the items here were very familiar. After the artifacts from the tombs, I came to the end of the hallway, and on the other side were a lot of statues. As in many of the museums before, the lighting here was spectacular, and it was easy to take really good pictures of some of the items on display. I then went to the top floor of the museum where I had a good view down onto the concourse. Here there was a lot of Western art. There were statues and amphoras from Rome and Greece. I loved looking at the different faces and felt like all of them had some sort of resemblance with either an actor or a real person that I knew, and I like trying to figure out who they reminded me of. I thought I saw Ed Sheeran and my English teacher from high school. This part with the little kids was also very interesting. Then came the Asian art again with samurai uniforms and samurai swords. Then came an area with Buddha statues. There were Korean ceremonial masks like I had seen in the theater play, and documents and paintings. The plates here were very beautiful. I really liked these statues and how realistic some of them looked. After the lifelike statues came more vases and vessels that were all decorated in intricate patterns and beautiful colors. I took photos of the ones that were the most interesting or in some way just intrigued me based on the patterns, the colors, the shapes, or the story they seemed to tell. Some of the pottery, I believe, was Japanese and Chinese. It wasn't all Korean. There were also certain artifacts that had been found in specific locations and tombs that were on display here. All the items were really unique and special in some way, and I was impressed by the artists who had created them. There were rooms for special exhibits where you would enter on one side, follow through, come back out into the main hallway, and then enter another section. After these bronze vessels, I came to a room that contained Indian treasures. The black background and the lighting on the statues really brought out the contrasts of light and shadow. I can't remember why the bulls were significant, but there was a special significance to these. At the end here is another section of pottery in different shapes and sizes, most of them in the light green color. All of them beautifully made with intricate patterns. So if you are lucky enough to go to Seoul, I highly recommend going to the National Museum of Korea. I thought the exhibits were phenomenal, and I really enjoyed my visit here. It was getting close to closing time, and my next goal was to go to Banpo Bridge. Just as I was crossing the road to get onto the bridge, the sun was setting, and I was trying to take pictures of the sun But then as I was crossing the bridge, I saw the sunset again. And then as I kept going further southward, I kept seeing more and more of the sunset. So it was a never-ending sunset for about half an hour. As I was crossing the Han River and the sun had gone down, I could see the area of Banpo Bridge where people were meeting and gathering to watch the colorful fountain that I had seen in some of the K-dramas. I could see the traffic jam of people trying to get parking near the bridge and was glad that I was walking there. The sky was still bright from the sunset. There was an orange glow, and right as I arrived, the buildings started to light up in different neon colors that kept changing throughout the evening. It was very beautiful and very spectacular. People were just sitting on blankets, they had food and were eating picnic, taking pictures. It was a very family-oriented area. As night got darker, the contrast with the buildings became more pronounced and it became more beautiful. Behind me also the buildings were in different colors and the moon was out. And then suddenly the fountain started. And everybody got up and tried to find a place where they could best see the water coming out of the side of the bridge. It was very pretty. Again, everything was in rainbow colors. Once the show ended, I was very hungry and ready to head home. I had to go through a long tunnel to go underneath the street to get to where the buildings were. And then I think it was several kilometers before I hit the metro station. And that's where I found a place to eat. At first I saw a Frank burger, but since I was eating those at home all the time, I wanted something special. And I found a place that had what I later found out was actually a Japanese kind of pork cutlet with sauce, which was very good. Almost tasted like a German currywurst sauce. Please join me for day 3 at Sogang University in Myeongdong. Thanks for watching.